This episode of The Nod is brought to you by Fortune Favors the Bold, a new branded podcast from MasterCard and Gimlet Creative.
Fortune Favors the Bold takes a look at the unique and changing role money plays in our lives.
And what happens when we take risks, take control, and redefine our relationship with it.
Join writer, personality, and friend of the show, Ashley C. Ford, as she takes on the future of work, digital economies, and identity, and the potential for a cashless future.
The first episode of Fortune Favors the Bold drops on January 16th. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. From Gimlet Media, this is The Nod. I'm Eric Eddings.
And I am Brittany Luce. So there's something that we've noticed lately about a certain primetime CNN news host.
Yes, a man they call Don Lemon. You may know him as the host of CNN Tonight, but what we have noticed is that it appears that he's going through a transformation of sorts.
So we want to give you a taste of the Don Lemon that we once knew. You know, the guy who once decided to make a list of things that Black people needed to do to better themselves.
Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Sagging pants, whether it's Justin Bieber or no-name Derek around the way, walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. Number 4 now is the N-word. By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the master intended, acting like a nigger? Now, number 3, respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should.
So that was old Don Lemon, the Don Lemon that we knew. But this is new Don Lemon. Here he is from a show he did after Charlottesville.
That's how people of color feel in this country when we have to deal with figures like Robert E. Lee, like Confederate flags. It's no different than flying a swastika. It is insulting. The president is ignorant of history. He does not know context. He should be ashamed of himself. He should go back to school and get an elementary education on how this country started and about protest groups and how this country works and who he represents and who he should represent.
Like, it's wild. Like, new Don Lemon is talking about racism. He's calling out the president.
I didn't see that coming.
So I just want to come back to this so you understand. Like, old Don Lemon is the one who said this about protesters in Ferguson.
They're on top of the roofs of the tops of cars, and obviously there's a smell of marijuana in the air as well.
Right. And again, this is new Don Lemon.
Taking a knee is a constitutionally protected expression. It falls within league rules, period. If anyone actually believes this is about the flag, then you must believe Rosa Parks' protest was about a bus. Think about that.
So it feels like Don Lemon used to be like the respectability politician in chief. Like, Black folks would collectively cringe when he opened his mouth, or like you see his take, you know, whatever the take was from last night on the news the next day. And like now he's gone through this like transformation post-Trump. I saw on Twitter, like somebody was like, Don Lemon has turned into Fred Hampton, and like nobody knows what to do with that.
But really though, this begs the question, like, what is going on with Don Lemon?
And even more importantly, is it good for the Blacks? So at this segment, we try to break it down and see, like, what are the pros? What are the cons here? Is Don Lemon's transformation actually good or bad for Black folks as a whole?
And we found the perfect person to help us answer that question. And we invited him into the studio.
So I guess if you could just, introduce yourself.
Yeah, just tell us your name, what you do, who you are, what's good.
I am Ira Madison III. I am a culture writer at The Daily Beast and a contributor to Crooked Media.
Welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I have to tell you something. So
Okay.
I love reading your work, especially your criticism. I absolutely love following you on Twitter.
Thank you.
And so I was tickled, just tickled pink the other day when I came across this blog post that you shared. It was entitled, "A Comprehensive List of All 160 Things Ira Madison III Has Said Keep It About." Keep it is a phrase that you use a lot, I've noticed.
Mhm.
And basically, this blog called The Niche made a list of pretty much every single thing that you've ever said keep it about. Like
Mhm.
Sean Penn starring in a new TV show, Meghan McCain potentially joining the cast of The View, James Corden kissing Sean Spicer on the cheek. Could you please just tell us what you mean when you say keep it?
I mean, generally what it means is like, no thanks. Like, whatever you're about to give me, you can keep it. I don't need it. Basically, like, get this out of my face is what it means. And sometimes they're hard keep it's, but sometimes there's like a soft keep it, sometimes like a little playful one.
Wait, what's a soft keep it?
Yeah, I would love to hear I would love to hear a soft keep it.
So from that list, number 25, I put a keep it on Taylor Swift's like comeback,
Yeah.
That's a good one. I also wonder, you said comeback. That's the thing I never wonder. I feel like she never goes away.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's she coming back from? Where is she gone?
Her like fortress of solitude. She vanishes for a bit.
Yeah. Never long enough. But
Never long enough. The thing I think that we both appreciate about you and your relationship to this special phrase is that I think it really just demonstrates how decisive you are.
Thank you.
Yes.
That for us makes you a perfect person to have for our Good for the Black segment on Don Lemon's magical transformation.
Yes. And so let's start with the pros. Like, what is the argument in favor of Don Lemon's supposed woke transformation?
Yes. So when I think about this situation, it is confounding because people are like seasons, they change. They can be mercurial, but like Don Lemon is 51 years old. 51. When you're a 51-year-old Black man, there's some stuff that you've decided already. You're kind of, you are how you are. So it's very fascinating to me to see him at 51 working all this stuff out in public. And not just in public, like Don Lemon is one of the few Black people that we have who is highly visible and consistently visible. Like he is on air like pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, even if you're not really rocking with him, you kind of have to accept the fact that like, your man's is out there. And the fact that he's having this transformation on a national stage, I think that is positive. Like he is somebody who he's easy to find. His commentary is easy to find. And so like if he's inescapable, to see his pendulum sort of swing toward more clarity, more critical thinking, I think that that's kind of a positive thing.
Yeah. Ira, do you have any pros?
You know what? I think that in this time, this impending race war,
It's coming.
we got to rock with whoever's on our side, And Don Lemon is a bit like Magneto. Sometimes he has to join the X-Men because the government is sending sentinels to kill all of us, He saw Charlottesville and he was like, oh, okay, these crackers are marching. And the president is like whipping them up into a frenzy, like he's their ringleader. And Don was like, I'm not about to die out here, And so you can see him shifting because like we've all shifted,
Yeah.
Like there was a report people were talking about how, are these late night shows getting too political? The ratings are going to drop. And the evidence is there, like it's months later. And the shows that have gotten very political and have gone after Trump, their ratings are going up. And it's people who are sort of apolitical, like a Jimmy Fallon, his ratings are going down. Even James Corden's getting up in this shit. And he don't even go here.
No.
But it just sort of permeates everything that we do now. So I feel like for Don Lemon to not shift in this time would have been crazy. And I don't even know if he like consciously knows that he is shifting. I don't think he thinks he like fucked up before.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's had that kind of transition yet, but it's a slow one. He started changing a little bit, I feel like, when he came out.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's changing a bit now, and maybe it's a slow burn.
It's crazy to think what the end point of this type of transformation could be with Don Lemon.
Well, I mean, I'm wondering if he's just speaking it into being. Do you know what I'm saying?
My pro is honestly very similar to yours, Ira. Like, it is all hands on deck time. You gotta choose, you know? Like, there is no ambiguity anymore. As much as Don Lemon has infuriated me with pretty much everything he said before, like, this recent point.
Sure.
The chips are down.
Yeah.
And you got to do something, you know, like somebody's got to say something. And he's at least speaking up right now, you know, when we might be threatened with the race war.
Something I've been thinking about is like, I feel like performative wokeness is so popping. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like a way, that's like some people are making their careers off of it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see somebody who's not, like, Don Lemon is not cool. He's not interested in being cool. He's a 51-year-old black man who works for CNN. He kind of operates without pretense. Do you know what I mean? Which in a way, like, the fact that he's sort of open about, like, I'm just figuring this out for the first time. There's a lot of people who would try to hide that. And I mean, there's a lot of things I know Don Lemon and I disagree about, but it is refreshing to see somebody who is working their stuff out in public like that and not being really super self-conscious about it.
So I think this is actually a good spot to pivot. It's time to get to
them cons.
The cons. A part of me feels like, I'm not gonna lie, seeing the clip of him talking about Trump after Charlottesville, a part of that makes me feel happy. But a part of me also feels like it's kind of late, bruh. Like, you know, like, he is 51 years old. And he has been on TV for a long time. And like, only now, when things are so dire, are you even beginning to kind of work through these things? Like, there's a lot of folks who have had roles like his, like a Melissa Harris Perry, you know, who have done that work and like suffered for like speaking truth to power, for going out on a limb and saying something is racist, for saying like, you know, it's not black people's fault that you know, we experience subjugation.
Because we didn't finish school.
Because we didn't finish school or pull up our pants. It's real late. There's salt in the wound with like really trusting him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I happen to catch these things that he's saying and I'm like, yes, I'm so glad he's doing it. But I still don't know that I can like turn on the dial willingly to like seek out anything that he's gonna say.
I'm always wary of, you know, giving a light-skinned Negro a platform. So
look at Drake.
You know, seeing this new glow up is a bit disconcerting. One negative thing is that, you know, like, his past is just like there. You know, so like the whites can always use it to like sort of attack him or be like, oh no, he's really on our side, because he hasn't really repudiated any of that stuff before, you know, the respectability politics. You know, you can have this public transformation, but like, have you also made amends for like the mess that you've caused? Or are we just supposed to sweep it under the rug and forget it? Like, you're not even dropping, you know, the life of Pablo, you know? So it's not like you're asking us to forgive your shitty behavior and also giving us a fire album.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. Like, how much do we extend to him? I think he gets a seat at the cookout. I don't know if I trust him to bring a dish.
So my con is, he just can't be trusted like that. To be more specific, he can't be trusted not to say the wrong thing at the precise wrong time.
Yeah.
You know, like that segment that he did with the Confederate flag and the sign that just said nigger.
This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. Does this offend you? It's a Confederate flag. Is it a symbol of Southern pride or a symbol of hate? And then, what about this? Does this offend you? This word?
Him holding a big sign that said nigger. I had that as my cover photo on Facebook for like a good 3 months.
That's it, real talk. That was one of the wildest things I think I've ever seen on TV.
Because it was like, because the thing is, if you're somebody who has a prime TV slot at a major news organization, there are so many people that are contributing to what makes that even a 3-minute segment work.
Yeah.
So many people had to be like, yes, this is the move. We're going to be provocative. We're going to spur conversation. We're going to make this big all-cap sign that just says nigger on it. And we're going to hold it up.
I am forever so mad at whatever intern they made go to a copy shop and print a large card that said nigger on it.
You already know
Like,
it was
how do you do that to someone?
It was probably like the diversity intern too.
Oh my God.
Like the one
they picked like the one black girl in the building to be like,
yeah, you gotta go.
Keisha, can you make a little run? Can you make a run to Kinko's?
There's like a theater to Don Lemon. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's a theatrical kind of guy. If we are too quick to sort of like praise him and give him essentially credit for his awakening, we're kind of setting ourselves up for failure and we're setting him up for failure. And like part of that is he's going to do what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like on one hand, I do appreciate sort of his public transformation. But on the other hand, part of what's kind of screwy about this is like the way that we approach labeling somebody who's had a coherent critical thought. As soon as the thought gets on Twitter or Instagram or like comes out of their mouth on TV, everybody is so quick to like lavish them with praise and like make Instagram shirts, do you know what I'm saying, of their face on it or whatever. And like we set all of ourselves up we set everybody up for failure when we do that.
You know, I don't know. I support her. You know, she's still one of the gays. So Don, we have that sisterhood, and also the Black Brotherhood. So I have to support two things of him, just, you know, instinctively. So I'm just going to put that out there before we go to the vote.
Okay. I'm glad you put that stake in the sand.
All right, after the break, we've got your results. Is new Don Lemon good or bad for the blacks? This episode of The Nod is brought to you by Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood believes everyone should have access to reproductive health care. That's because they believe reproductive rights are human rights.
Planned Parenthood has been fighting to make affordable birth control available to everyone for a long time. And that fight is now more urgent than it's ever been.
If you believe that birth control should be a right, not a privilege, if you trust women to make choices about their reproductive health, and if you support Planned Parenthood, then consider getting involved.
Why do you think some people support a cause, but don't take the next step of actually like getting involved?
I think sometimes urgency can be missing. But like right now, there seems to be a lot of urgency. You know, things feel really important and dire. And I think what a lot of people are finding is that, you know, there are a bunch of different ways you can get involved, a bunch of different ways that you can, you know, kind of take action and make a difference.
You can get started and take action yourself by texting the word NOD to the number 22422. Planned Parenthood will periodically text you ways to support their efforts.
That's NOD to 22422. Message and data rates may apply.
This episode of The Nod is brought to you by Showtime and their new original series, The Chi.
The Chi, as in Chicago, of course, takes an authentic look at life on the South Side of Chicago by following the stories of those who live there. And we got a chance to watch the very first episode.
It's kind of like an ensemble drama. It's like a group of interconnected, intergenerational Chicagoans. And they're just trying to get by from day to day. And it's one of those things that kind of remind you that everybody is connected and that like your actions or even just one action toward another person can cause things to turn or change in ways that you could never have anticipated.
No, you're right. And The Chi is created by Lena Waithe, and she's
Emmy winner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Super talented woman, also a Chicagoan. I feel like I'm kind of being brought into her world, and it's pretty interesting.
The Chi is also executive produced by Common and features music from other Chicago native rappers you know and love.
The Chi is available to stream right now. And if you're new to Showtime, you can try your first month for free. Just go to Showtime.com and enter code THENOD.
That's Showtime.com, promo code THENOD. Offer ends February 1st. All right, so now it's time for the vote.
It is time.
Whether or not Don Lemon's transformation is good or bad for the Blacks. So you can give like a few sentences explanation about why ultimately this is your vote. You want to start?
I'll start. So I'll put myself out there. I've given this a lot of thought, and I did just say that I really, 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 really hate how quick everybody is to like put like a crown of laurels all over anybody who acts like a halfway decent human being. But I did also say that Don Lemon is a 51-year-old Black man, and I'm a 30-year-old Black woman. Like, my desire to change as a human being is beginning to calcify. I can feel it. Like, I'm starting to become I'm like the Rock of Gibraltar. Like, I can't be moved. And I think, I don't really know what the Rock of Gibraltar is, if I'm honest with you. But I think that at 51, to like be doing the uncool work of figuring out how he feels about things and feeling empowered to call out somebody in power so publicly and as regularly as he has been doing that now. Even though I know that like the price of admission for new Don Lemon is a cardboard sign that says nigger on it. I know that's the price of admission. And I know there's going to be more moments like that are going to be totally cringeworthy and are going to leave a lot of us shaking our heads and actually probably lead to more good for the Black segments where people are just like, what do you think about what this man Don Lemon is doing? I was just like, girl, I don't know. But ultimately, I believe that I think Don Lemon's transformation is good for the Blacks.
All right, Ira, what you got?
What you got?
What say you?
I love that Don Lemon is responding to Trump in this way, giving us, sort of that transformation that we do need. I appreciate that he's still doing that at the age of 51. And I appreciate just sort of the fact that he's visible every day, reading the news and stuff, which is good for him. Do I need to see him do an interview ever? Probably not, especially with a Black person. I just feel like it would be a mess. I don't know if he's completely done a 180. I think he's shifted a bit, like maybe 45 degrees. So there's still going to be like fuckery to come. So as to whether or not his transformation is good for the Blacks, no.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Because you know what? The biggest con is that it ruins very good Don Lemon jokes. I don't want to have to be nice to him.
That is true. Wow, so that's a lot of pressure.
That is a lot of pressure. I know you're the tiebreaker right now. This is good too. I love when I'm surprised. I love being surprised. I love it.
Okay, so here's the thing. So we play one clip of the new Don Lemon, but there's another one that I actually really like, where they're talking about the monuments and why Black people want these Confederate monuments to come down. And Don Lemon's like, he has this look on his face like, what? Like, why don't you see this? And he says to them, he's like,
can you imagine having to go to a school that has the name of your oppressor on it, or walking into a building and seeing a Confederate flag or a Confederate flag hanging at a government building? Imagine if you're a Jewish person in Germany and you had to go to Hitler High School or Goebbels Elementary School or middle school. That would be completely offensive to you on the deepest level.
at the moment he says this, there's like a a panel of white folks, and they all just look like, like you just see the jaws drop.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have a tinge of like, well, damn, I don't have a good rebuttal to that. And I remember being like, wow, this is what you could be. This is what you could. This is what we need. And I was really, really happy. So that part of me really wants to root for this transformation. But but I still struggle with the folks who have gone on cable news and done the hard thing before, Donald Trump's rise, and have said, like, there are problems in this country and they stem from race and you need to pay attention to them and it's not Black people's fault, and who did that every single day, And a lot of those folks are not on the air anymore.
Nope.
Or they don't have the best time slot. I think I struggle with it in a way that makes me say, ultimately, this transformation is not good for the Blacks. Because, real talk, we need somebody who is in this for the long haul.
But wait, somebody for what, though? That's the thing that I'm wondering.
Race war.
The thing is, we have, but like, I guess there's one clarification. When you say we need somebody, it's not like those people don't exist.
Sure.
But like, you need somebody like specifically in a certain position. Is that what you mean?
Yes, in Don
Like
Lemon's
CNN.
position. Like with the good time slot, who has like the quote unquote stature. Somebody who is up there and we don't have to worry about their position and what they're gonna say today,
Yeah.
Like he occupies a perch that somebody is better equipped to fill. And while he's given us what we need right now, I still don't know that I can really trust it.
What you essentially just asked for right now is a whole ass different society.
I mean, fair. Sure. I mean, I mean, that doesn't mean we don't deserve it. Like, that doesn't mean I'm not happy that he's doing this.
Yeah.
I am happy that he is saying the things that he's saying. And I want him to continue. I want him to continue figuring out whatever it is he's trying to figure out.
But he's
right
not
now.
your mascot, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He is not your Negro.
No, he is not.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Don Lemon's transformation, bad for Black people, bad for the Blacks.
I mean, to be fair, I don't even think I'm good for the Blacks, to be honest.
Special thanks to our guest, Ira Madison III. If you couldn't get enough of Ira here, he has his own podcast coming out this month. It's called Keep It, so check it out. I know I will be.
The Nod is produced by me, Brittany Luce, with Eric Eddings, Kate Parkinson Morgan, and Emmanuel Berry. Additional producing this week from James T. Green. Production assistance from Wallace Mack. Our senior producer is Sarah Abdurrahman. We are edited by Annie Rose Strasser. Engineering from Cedric Wilson. Our theme music and additional music is by Khalid B.
I just feel like if Don Lemon were to release like a line of wines, it would be Riesling, and I don't know if I can.
Wow.
I don't know if I can rock with it. To be honest,
Man, that's a new type of shade.
My jaw is unhinged. I really didn't know what type of wine you were going to say. Wow,
But I
Riesling?
felt that in my soul. I really
not
did.
not refined enough to be like a nice, Sauvignon Blanc, and not really like down enough to be a Moscato Riesling. And you know what? Because he's kind of bougie, like it would probably be a sparkling Riesling.
Damn.
And probably warm too, right? Like not even cold.
Yes.
Room
Room
temperature.
temp.
Room temperature,
temp.
sparkling Riesling. Damn, if somebody said this about me, I would honestly just hide out. Thanks to our sponsor, Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood believes that reproductive rights are human rights.
To get involved with Planned Parenthood and join the fight for affordable birth control, text NOD to 22422.
That's NOD to the number 22422.
Thanks to our sponsor, Showtime, and their new drama series, The Chi.
The Chi is available to stream right now. And if you're new to Showtime, you can try your first month for free.
Just go to Showtime.com and enter code THENOD.
That's Showtime.com, promo code THENOD.
Offer ends February 1st.